Legarda needs no introduction. She is, after all, on top of almost all the surveys made for these elections. How's that for recall? But despite being a shoo-in for the Senate, this tireless re-electionist continues to campaign like there's no tomorrow. What gives Senator Legarda? Find out on INQUIRER.net's Inquest Vote 2013.
You were not born poor.
I was not born rich either.
Okay.
I was born to a father who was a car salesman.
Okay.
I was born to a mother who was a bank secretary. We were not poor, definitely not, but we were not wealthy. I did not have a driver. My father used to drive me. We had a car to school. They gave me the best education they could at the time. Where my classmates in Assumption would go abroad during summers, I would go to Baguio. So it was nice. It was a nice middle-class family. I think I was given the best education my parents could afford, and very intelligent and good genes. My mom was cum laude. My aunties were magna cum laude. My uncle, who's still living at 92 years old, was top 3 in the medical board. My other aunt was top-notch in the pharmacy board. Matatalino. Sa akin yun ang yaman ko.
Senator Loren, do you have role models or people who you look up to? May we know who these are, if you have any?
You know, it's difficult to have just one role model, no? But I look up to certain people.
Yes.
Not necessarily Filipinos, but many Filipinos to look up to. But let me just start with my idols from way back. And I shed a tear when I met her. Aung San Suu Kyi. I was just so amazed and touched by her selflessness and her strength of character.
Does Senator Legarda have time to go out on dates?
With my children.
To socialize and to outside of your family?
When you say dates, romantic date,
Romantic dates?
walang gusto mag-date sa akin. Wala, as in
Bakit
wala.
naman po?
Eh, hindi ko alam, tanungin mo sila. So, romantic date, Coke Zero. So, wala. Date with my sons, yes.
But what type of
And-
guy would Senator Legarda fall for?
Okay. I'll be honest and truthful. Monogamous, intelligent, dignified, compassionate, kind, generous, and who has integrity. Saan yun? Saan mo hahanapin yun?
Talking about sense of humor, actually your image as
So
a
different.
senator is
Yeah.
quite a serious one.
Really? Oh, I'm funny. Am I not funny now?
Well, actually, we're just about to comment that you make us laugh, but what makes you laugh?
Well, sometimes, I admit, I can be...
Facial expression.
No. I mean, I'll tell you a story. Sometimes, I can be dense sa jokes. Then they crack a joke and they say, then everyone's laughing and they say, and then I'm the laughing stock. They crack a joke. Everyone's laughing. Ko, ha. Ano ba yun? Ano ibig sabihin nun? Dense mo naman. Ko, sorry, hindi ko gets. So I laugh when everyone's laughing and I don't get it and they laugh at me, so I laugh at myself. I love laughing at myself.
You are a famous broadcast anchor, TV anchor, news anchor, and then you turn into politics.
And a producer. I
And a
was not
producer?
just an anchor, I was a producer,
Okay.
writer, and anchor, yes.
Okay. So
20
would you have
years.
continued with your career in broadcast
Probably
media
in broadcast
if
na.
you had not been
Yes.
become? Oh, I see.
Kung hindi po ako natisod sa larangan ng politika, it was by accident. I was interviewing former president at the time, he was President Ramos at the time, in the Rizal room in Malacanang. And he just blurted it out. Would you consider running for the Senate? And that was 1997. I was at the peak of my career. And I was very happy as a producer of the award-winning Inside Story and anchoring The World Tonight with Angelo Castro Jr. So, I had I mean, wala na akong hilingin pa sa career ko no, doing great. I wasn't looking for another career, at least not yet.
Yeah.
And then I told the president, hindi po, I'm very happy with my career, no way, hindi po. I didn't say no way, but no. Sabi niya, test the waters. So then I tested the waters and the rest is history.
Nice.
Then I entered. But if I didn't enter politics, if I didn't go to the Senate, I'll probably still be in broadcasting now. Maybe producing documentaries.
Also have this image of Senator Loren has a temper.
Who does not have?
Has there been an advice, of a makeover, for instance?
No, what you see is what you get.
All right. Okay.
When you say temper, hindi siguro temper. Let's call it intolerance for mediocrity. Perfectionist. I learned from FDR, the former President Ramos, CSW, complete staff work. My late grandfather was a journalist. Again, I grew up with him in the same compound in Malabon. No matter what, may deadline. 20 years akong journalist. No matter what, uupo ko sa harap ng camera. Masakit man ang tiyan mo, nahihilo ka man, at may migraine ka man, ano man nararamdaman mo, may personal problem ka sa love life mo, ay haharap ka sa camera, may balita. Diba? Ganun ang aking orientation. So, ano yung deadline? Ngayon. So, is that a temper? No, it's discipline.
Like, how do you keep on your feet? How do you manage your very hectic schedule?
It's tough. It's tough. And perhaps if I exercised more, I'll even be more tireless. Well, nakakatuwa. People say, why are you campaigning? You're number one in surveys. I said, all the more people expect to see me. Because to whom much is given, much is also expected. And because they love you, they support you, they have to see you. And so that gives me perhaps the energy, the inspiration.
In filing bills, what actually
Motivates
rule you more? Your heart or your head?
Just like I think like a producer. Just like putting maybe an editor na kayo, putting a story in the newspaper or as a producer into a show. It's equal the head and the heart. Ano ang kailangan ng tao?
Yeah.
Ano ang gusto kong gawin at ano ang tingin kong kaya kong gawin.
Is there anyone you would consult about, let's say, in filing, let's say, a bill on
Of course.
trafficked women?
Of course.
Or are you
I have
heavy in
brilliant,
research?
yeah,
Are you
of
heavy
course.
in-
I have consultants who are lawyers. Dean Magallona of the UP College of Law is my consultant for foreign relations. Dr. Claire Carlos, UP Political Science professor, is a brilliant consultant as well. Kate Macera is brilliant in energy. I have consultants. It's not just one head, but several heads.
You are running under Team Pinoy, or you were adopted by Team Pinoy
I'm NPC.
and NPC. Will you be a fiscalizer? Will you be the voice of the opposition, or will you be advocating policies of Team Pinoy?
You know, this Team Pinoy and Una thing is only for 3 months. But in the end, it is the people that we serve. After May 13, let's set aside all so-called differences, which I don't even have because everybody's my friend, and let's just serve the people. So what kind of a senator will I be? The same kind of senator they elected in 1998 and 2007. Basically a humanitarian who will serve the basic needs of our people. And I will support the legislative measure of a senator who may have run under a different party
Yeah.
or another coalition if it merits my attention and my vote. Ganun yun eh. It's not a matter of anong partido ka tumakbo, pero kung yung panukulang batas niya ay makakabuti sa mga tao.
You've passed so many laws, and definitely, you're a shoo-in for the Senate. When you do go back, how do you see yourself as a what kind of senator will you be when you return to the Senate?
the 7 environmental laws, which I'm very proud about, from the Clean Air Act, but principally authored and sponsored by Greg Honasan. He was chairman of the Environment Committee in my first term. But that's very important. We have to see its full implementation because it's not really fully implemented despite the 14 years it's been a law. The Ecological Solid Waste Management Law that I sponsored and principally authored, again, 30% of LGUs implemented, not yet all. So I want to see an oversight function of the Senate to see its full implementation. The Clean Water Act, again, far from being implemented. We have to see water treatments and sewage plants, etc. Then the Environmental Education Awareness Act, I think it's being implemented. The climate change law, I'm very proud of that. I have to make sure that the direction on climate change adaptation is actually done. So I will monitor the implementation of that. The NDREAMC law. There's a DRR officer, disaster risk reduction officer, in every province and city and town. We have to make sure that law works. And what is my other law which I missed? People's Survival Fund. Just recently passed, but we put in 500 million on that. I want to make sure that the LGUs and the NGOs and the POs, public people's organizations, actually access the funding for climate adaptation projects. But I won't just limit myself to the environment. Two very important laws that I have authored and will be enacted into law this year is first, the universal health care. 25 billion funding has been allocated for the universal health care, which will cover the poorest Filipinos with no fit health. I'm very proud of that because many laws, good laws, go unfunded. This law is a funded law, which I principally authored. And second, I will file this in my next term, Pantawid tuition, where each college, each poor Filipino family will have at least one college scholarship. That's just a peek into what I need to do in my next term. My laws may not make great headlines, but I really think that these are life-changing. Why? Because you preserve culture. You provide livelihood. You provide rural livelihoods, which are important. My micro and small and medium enterprises law, it's created hundreds of thousands of jobs according to the Department of Trade, and I see it everywhere. For me, for as long as one person is listening and following my law, I'll have hope. And that's the spirit of the Filipino that we should have.
What's your take on the issue of political dynasty? At the rate the surveys, if we are to believe the surveys, it seems that we will have brother and sister teams in the Senate, and that will sort of tip the balance in favor of, some bills that may or may not be.
Correct.
So, but is it something that you will actively campaign against?
It's something worth looking into because there are two sides of political dynastyism. There are very good people who come from political families, so why deprive them the opportunity to serve? Some very competent, hardworking, disciplined, brilliant people who can lend their expertise to public service, and also those who are unqualified but are there because of the name. So there are two ways of looking at it. First, we have to define what political dynasty is, so that has to be debated upon, and to what level, local, national. Masalimuot na trabaho, interesting in a debate. And I would like to partake because I am one of the few not coming from a political family.
The freedom of information.
I'm a co-author. I would refile it.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you think this will really stand a chance of being approved?
It will
The
depend
next,
on
Senate?
the number of senators who support it. We don't know yet who's going to win. So it will depend on the number of senators who will actually support it. And Congress as well.